Hey everyone, welcome back to TPM Simplified. In my last video, I talked about scalability and the different types. If you missed it, check it out first. It would make this one easier to follow. Today, we are zooming in on one thing, the key components of scalable architecture. That is the building blocks that make system handle massive growth without crashing. Let's get started. Think of scalable architecture like a well-designed kitchen. If you suddenly need to serve 500 customers instead of 50, you don't build a new restaurant. You just organize your kitchen so everyone can work efficiently. That's what scalable systems do. They are built to grow. Now, let's look at the 5 main components that make a system scalable with explanations and real-world examples. Number 1, we have load balancers. When a million users open an app like Amazon during Black Friday, all that traffic can't go to one server, right? If not, it would crash instantly. So what does a load balancer do? It spreads user requests evenly across multiple servers, like multiple checkout counters in a busy store. If a counter is full, the next one takes over. Now let's look at Netflix for an example. Netflix uses load balancers so your video streams smoothly, no matter where you are or how many people are watching. Now, load balancers simply spreads users' requests evenly across multiple servers. Yeah, and tools that helps with does the service of load balancers include Nginx, HA Proxy, AWS Elastic Load Balancer, Cloud Load Balancer, that's Google Cloud Load Balancer. The second tool for scalability or component of scalability is the microservices. So instead of one big system doing everything, which is called a monolith, modern apps are built into smaller independent services. This means that each of these independent services handles one function. For example, you think of it like a restaurant where one chef handles starters, another cooks the main dish, and another makes desserts. If one chef messes up, the whole kitchen doesn't stop, right? Yeah. Another real world example I'll be using is Uber. Uber runs microservices for riders. That is, the payment feature, notifications, and the map features operate separately. So if the payment system fails, you can still book rides while the rest of the app keeps running. That is an example of microservices or microservicing. And tools that help in microservicing are Docker, Kubernetes, and Istio. Number 3, we have caching. When you open Instagram or Twitter, you notice how your feed loads faster the second time, right? That's because of caching. Caching is storing frequently used data temporarily, so the app doesn't fetch it again from the database. So it's like keeping snacks near your desk instead of walking to the kitchen every time. A real-world example I'll be using is YouTube. YouTube caches thumbnails and parts of your home page, so videos appear quickly. Yeah, and tools for caching are Redis, Memcached, Cloudflare, Cloudflare CDN, and so on. Number 4, or the fourth way to improve scalability, is scalable databases. Yeah, is to make your database scalable. Databases are the heart of every system, but as users grow, so does the amount of data. and not all databases can handle that scale. Yeah, so traditional database like MySQL work great for smaller systems. But once you are dealing with millions of users, you might need NoSQL databases like MongoDB or Cassandra that scale horizontally, and that is across multiple servers. A real world example I would like to use is Facebook. Facebook uses MySQL, but it layers it with systems like TAO and Cassandra to handle billions of reads and writes daily. And tools for scalable database are the PostgreSQL, MongoDB, like I've mentioned, DynamoDB, and then we have Cassandra. The fifth component of scalability is the auto scaling and cloud infrastructure. So this works on apps. Traffic. I'll start by saying that traffic on apps is never constant, right? So you think of Spotify, for example, on a Friday night, or Zoom during work hours. Yeah, millions of users log in at once, they later drop off, right? Now, auto scaling works by automatically adjusting resources based on demand. So it works by adding servers when traffic spikes and removing them when it drops. That means no downtime and no wasted costs. A real world example that I'll be sharing is Netflix. Netflix uses AWS Auto Scaling to handle traffic surges during new show releases, so everyone can binge watch smoothly. Tools for auto scaling include AWS Auto Scaling, like I mentioned, Google Kubernetes Engine, and we also have Azure skill sets. Now, to wrap up, we have 5 key components that make a system scalable. Number 1, the load balancers. Number 2, microservices. Number 3, caching. Number 4, scalable databases. And number 5, auto scaling infrastructure. Everyone plays a role in helping system grow without falling apart. So in my next video, we'll talk about the trade-offs of scalability, because scaling isn't always free or easy. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like, subscribe, and check out the previous video on type of scalability to complete the picture. See you next time on TPM Simplified.